This is Melissa Hunzeker with Keller Williams Realty here in Houston, Texas. One of the only drawbacks to doing electronic signatures and everything via email is that we don't often sit down anymore and go over the contract and the listing agreements in detail. So I thought I'd record this video that tells you a little bit more about the Texas Association of Realtors listing agreement. This is a document that we commonly sign just as someone's putting their property on the market. So hopefully you'll find this helpful. Let me know if I can list your home for you. Hi, this is the Texas Association of Realtors Residential Real Estate Listing Agreement Exclusive Right to Sell. This is the most common form that we use when listing a home. This is for average property, and I'm going to go through and hit the highlights and tell you what we'd fill in here. This first area basically just identifies the necessary parties. So this is seller information here. So your details go here, and then of course you've got my details in the next section, and then we get on to the property. This first area here basically is the legal address, the lot, the block, and the section of your community. And then your city, county, and then the physical address. Moving down, we get into the improvements on the property. This is basically everything permanently installed on the home, specifically things like ceiling fans, wall fixtures, things like shelves, built-in things, also window treatments, the brackets attached to the wall as well as the curtains. This talks about accessories. Those are all going to be conveyed with the sale, things like garage door openers, that sort of thing. Exclusions, this is the paragraph area we need to fill in if there's anything mentioned in these above paragraphs that you do not want to be conveyed in the sale. So if you do want to take those curtains with you, or you have a chandelier that's a family heirloom, we need to go in and fill in those details here. Next, the area about the owners association, whether you are or not in a homeowners association. Of course, list price, and then the term. Usually we'll do about a 90-day window here. My fees are listed down here. Talks about when they are earned and payable. Essentially at closing, once we get a buyer committed to the property and go to closing, that's when those funds are payable. Other fees, basically if there were any, they would start to be detailed in these sections here. Typically this area is going to be waived. Sometimes we'll have a transaction fee that we'll agree to, or you'll pay for photos up front or virtual tours or things like that. Sometimes those amounts will be listed here. Protection period, this just says essentially the time frame. Anyone that was initially shown the property during our listing agreement, I'll have up to 90 days if the property gets sold to any of those, and we'll identify those in writing at the end of a listing agreement. Details down here basically, county, where most of the fees will be paid. Typically that'll be Harris or Fort Bend. Listing service, I will use MLS, multiple listing service, so that the property is advertised fully to other agents. Most commonly that'll be on HAR, you'll see that. Then we get into accessing the property. You're going to allow the property access during reasonable times. Most of the time, the people viewing the property are going to be with their own agent, not with me. So I'll install lockbox on the front there. I do use a scheduling company to show the property. We're going to give centralized showing instructions to how to allow people to access the property, what hours, what times, and these specific instructions for your property. This is their phone number and details here. Good thing about that is there's always somebody available to answer a call and schedule an appointment, even if I'm in an appointment with another customer. Key box, I mentioned that, will be placed on the property, that I am going to be authorized to do that. Then we get into cooperation with other brokers. Talks about the fees of the commission that I charge, what percentage is going to go to the other agent, the buyer's agent. Intermediary is a status. Most commonly this would occur if another Keller Williams agent showed your property. Every now and then I'm going to have a client that might really want to buy your property, and of course that would apply. But intermediary means basically both sides of the transaction are receiving a financial benefit from it. So if it's another Keller Williams agent, of course somebody up in the chain is receiving payment on both sides of the transaction. If we do have intermediary, typically we're going to appoint two different people, one to represent the seller and one for the buyer. Down here, this just, oops, too fast. This just says everything in the process is going to be confidential. Anything that you tell me is going to be kept confidential. Sorry, my mouse is kind of freaking out here. This says all the things that you're going to allow me to do: advertise the property, put a for sale sign, furnish information about the property to any prospective buyers, and once it sells, to provide those details. Your representations here that you do own the property with fee simple title, that you're not bound by a listing agreement, there are no delinquencies, defaults, anything liens like that. Some legalese about liability here. Special provisions would be anything that is outside the scope of this contract, anything specifically we want to make a note of here. And then all the other documents that go into this contract.
Hopefully you found this little video helpful. If you have any other questions about the listing agreement, you can reach me at 281-639-9287. I'll be happy to help. Thanks.